So I have to ask you, is this just sort of a surreal experience? I mean, seeing the movie come together. I mean, you're sitting next to Rosamund Pike, who plays Amy Dunn, your character. I mean, how strange is it?
Yeah, it's like someone has taken my brain and like kind of dug around and put it on the screen. I mean, it's so many elements are so close to what I've pictured. You know, from the town that David created to the wonderful characters that they become. So it's very. I have little brain snaps every now and then. Watching it last night, seeing it on the big screen with an audience for the first time, I would kind of lull and get into the mood as an actual moviegoer, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, "Wow, that's for my head."
I remember reading it and thinking, you know, it's an amazing book, but I don't know how they will make it into a movie. But he actually completely nailed it, and you, of course, too, with your screenplay. Rosamund, I mean, Amy is a complex character, to say the least. How long did it take you to kind of wrap your head around her?
Well, I still watch it and think, God, there's so many things that I didn't wrap my head around. I mean, you know, it's never ending. You do, you know, it's like you were saying, Gillian said, she wasn't ready to give up Nick and Amy and when she finished the novel, and so she got to have another go with the screenplay. And I mean, you got to keep the brain. You got to find out who the brain is, what the core brain is in the character, what she's thinking, and where she's come from, who she's been as a kid, and what kid has made that adult, and then you're placed to, you know, go wherever the story goes. You know, where she's, you know, what her agenda is at each turn.
I'm curious if you spoke to Gillian much about the character, and if you guys kind of got together to find out what makes Amy tick.
Yeah, Gillian was in the rehearsals the whole time, and probably, you know, I'm sure a writer's brain, I don't know, but I'm sure you're hearing, you know, the words in our mouths and adapting slightly for who we were.
Volume control and
that sort of thing. But yes, it was. I mean, it was great. The rehearsal process was really fun, actually, and really, really useful.
Very decadent to all be in the room for a month almost, you know, and to get to hear those lines and discuss, you know, things that weren't in the screenplay, but that informed your performance, I think, you know.
And then I was always trying to sort of, I suppose, read Gillian, but she can be quite opaque when she wants to be. You know? I was trying to sort of see whether, you know, because you feel someone's created a character as brilliant as this. You really want to do it justice. You know, it is a massive pressure. And then sometimes I'd get a clue, like she'd send me a book that she'd just sort of say, I was reading this while I was writing. I was like, right, I'll buy that, read that. And you're like, okay, right. So it's always sort of much more obtuse, really, than dead specific. So it gives you. She kept injecting me with sort of feelings and moods more than.
Right. Yeah, I want to be really respectful of letting her find her Amy. You know, it wasn't my. You know, she needed to find that place, so I didn't want to, you know, be fiddling, you know, in her brain too much. Like this. But instead, just sort of like you said, just general, you know, moods, songs that inspired it, you know, that kind of thing.
And how closely did you work with David? I mean, obviously, he's going to do to your story what he feels is best for the film.
Yeah, no, we worked very closely together. You know, when he came on the film, there was already first draft, and then there were more drafts when he came on. And you know, the thing about him was, you know, he taught me that no scene can do just one thing. You know, it has to do 8 things. You know, and I mean, he was very good at pushing me. You know, this scene is clever dialogue, but it also has to tell you something about the characters. It has to tell you a sense of place. It has to move the plot forward. It has to, you know, and you know, he really taught me to really push that, especially in a film that is trying to cover so much ground as Gone Girl is. You know, you're back and forth in time, you're trying to establish this relationship, you're setting a sense of a mystery, you know, there's a lot to be done. So he was like, no lazy scenes.
Yes, absolutely.